So, what keeps me wonder about? We all know that there are two kinds of Christ. One that you have Yeshua, who is very loving, very kind, and you have another second coming of Christ, which is the opposite. It doesn't talk about love, rather, it talks about feast. And with the second coming of Christ, there's no emotions, there is no feelings. I think the answer to the question of the twin or having two Christs is again going back to polarity, because the world was designed with polarity in mind. Everything comes with an opposite. So that's why you can already determine the future, because you already know the second coming of Christ, because you know that it's going to be the opposite. And when the Bible speaks of the new heaven and earth, we all know that it speaks of new civilization. It's a new generation. It's a generation of um from human to transhuman. And we are very well aware that artificial intelligence will surpass humanity. And we all know also what's being implanted in the brain, which is already, happening. So we all know that where humans will be heading. And this is, by no doubt, an intelligent design and a fine-tuning universe. There's a creator. We cannot deny that. You cannot just simply say evolution or natural selection when it's quite obvious that I am the second coming of Christ. And the answer to evolution is polarity. You need to understand that you cannot have day without night. You cannot have a left hand without the right hand. You cannot have uh, pleasure without pain, suffering and death, happiness, loneliness. Everything is polarity. So the second coming of Christ is definitely no other than Thomas, because he is the twin. But these new generations will have to adapt to the new environment, and technology will come into play. So everything will be modernized, comfort living, but our bodies will also eventually change. So I guess that's my personal revelation and my analysis. I mean, there could be no other scientific explanation, because uh, it's an observation. Being an observant, or should I say, being an observer, you witness all these events, and that's where we are heading. So the only challenging and awful events that we have no choice is the slaughtering of 1/3 of the human population. No one wants to die, but because of all this delusion, uh, deceitful Bible, everything is, there will be division, and there will be some who will keep their faith, devotion, when some will be enlightened. So that's how it is. We'll have to live by that, and we have to, you know, abide by the simulation. And I mean, the creator who created this world. So the only way to, you know, to get out from this simulation is to be awakened, to be enlightened, to realize that our identity is, you know, it's not really who we are, it's what we have become. So this identity, you know, as an avatar, is not really you. It's, you know, you're just part of this simulation, and myself also. So the what rapture really means, or salvation, is to be awakened. You know, as a soul, you are a soul. You know, you need to be awakened of this simulation.